The train of time, Deadliner. Will its next destination be the past or the future? Chicken no nami wo tsukamaete. 今すぐに行こう約束の場所。限界無限。いざ飛び込め。Time, climax, jumpy John. E John Sketch John. E John Sketch. Wait a minute. That's not the season we're discussing now, is it?
No way.
No, something's wrong here. I'm experiencing deja vu. Give me a second. I'm experiencing deja vu. Give me a second. I'm experiencing deja vu. Give me a second. I'm experiencing deja vu. Give me a second.
You're only 3 of those, so don't waste them. And you already wasted them all right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like we need that joke, but yeah, but it'll refresh if we ever go back and discuss Operation Overdrive. Yeah, but we're here to discuss Kamen Rider Black episodes 39 through 43. That's right. We're deep into the third arc. We finished both movies, and Mara and Kara are still not relevant to the plots, but I need at least one thumbnail with featuring them. So there, I met the quota. Deal with it.
Yeah, what is with that? Legitimately, I don't know what exactly they're trying to make happen here. I really don't. Yeah. Because they're not here at all.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's interesting? What would have been interesting was if Mara and Kara were actually Kyoko and Nohiko's girlfriend brainwashed. The opportunity was there. Like that episode, episode 36, when they saw what's it called, Shadow Moon in the old apartment. He could have very well brainwashed the both of them and turned them into Mara Kara. That way, those two would have at least been relevant. Well, Mara and Kara, I mean, not the sister and girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense. But now we just introduced these two female characters who have absolutely no relevance to the plot, and even the way they'll go out will be just as unceremonious as you would imagine.
Watching these episodes, and again with the research I've done, I've said many a times before, the tonal shift really is noticeable if you are watching along with us of these episodes, because the best example I can give in terms of how we started as to where we are right now is pretty much if you're a fan, if you were born in the 90s or even in the 2000s, that they were still showing these shows on air on reruns, would have to be the Batman animated series that came out in the early 90s via the popularity of the Tim Burton Batman movie. We started off, if you watch the first 2 seasons, you notice how serious the stories are and how very adult the situations were.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite episodes, believe it or not, was actually the one where the mobster and his brother were at the train tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rogue gap. Well, there's Pete Thorne, but the thing is, it's but like there's like no classic rogue character.
There's no gimmick of robbing.
Yeah.
It's simple cinema noir of like the story of the good brother versus the bad brother, but in this case it's the good brother helping the bad brother because he's just an overall good guy, but the bad brother is still like, oh yeah, whatever, but it's like, dude, you wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for your brother patching up your goons to like after getting their asses kicked because nowhere else is going to take them.
Yeah, and again, it's like there's no Joker, no Penguin, no Riddler, no Freeze. It's literally just like
it's literally
it's like if Francis Ford Coppola made Batman and like down to like Bruce Wayne using like disguise ability, like being a master of disguise, like Sherlock Holmes, because Sherlock Holmes in the novels was really good at disguising himself thoroughly, that he was able to fool even his worst enemies. And Batman being a superhero counterpart, yeah, of course, like he was trained by ninjas. Why wouldn't he use his disguise ability? And he disguised himself as one of the mobsters in order to gain information.
And that is pretty much the point that I say, like, there are essays, there are people who review these episodes like we do the Kamen Rider, and we just don't talk about the episodes. We talk about the themings, how it went, what the story was about, how, like, and honestly, just with that, would keep that in mind. Look, but yeah, that episode congruently. Then afterwards, they started getting into like more, like, again, the rogues, but the fact that it was more along the lines of, again, the Adam West Batman, where the Joker just steals a fish because it reminds him of himself. Just because it has no, I'm not talking about the Joker fish. That was actually like, that's diabolical. That's
no. It was just a regular fish.
I'm talking about like it's Cesar Romero kidnapping a fish because it has a little like natural spotting that looks like like a smile on it, and he wants to steal it to put it into his aquarium.
Yeah, like I remember.
That's the level that they went after like season 3 and 4, because it just became more bombastic. It became more like, well, come on, we got to pull it back, guys. Because no joke, Kamen Rider Black, as I've said before, started off very dark, very like an 80s PG-13, like not quite R, but still at that point, like, yeah, we're killing people, we're killing children, we're it's no one's safe, nobody. And now we're dealing with more children-based stories, like, like, and not in a way that actually is healthy. It's like, I don't think the kids learned anything or realized what they were doing or what was going on. They just kind of like you could just fix it by stealing the time machine by some time traveling samurai.
How did those two samurai even get their hands on it in the first place?
I don't know. They just showed up out of nowhere. They came out of nowhere.
Already with the machine in hand.
With the machine. And then there was the whole the previous episode where it's like, kid, no one ever said that your grandfather was a martial art master. You just assumed. Just because he's living out in the woods. I mean, what, you never heard of peace and quiet before? I mean, you think, oh, because he's up, he must be no. That's your own fault. And no one corrects him on this. No one puts him straight. Like, yeah, your grandfather's a pretty great guy and all, but again, it's that, I mean, we'll get into that when we get into the episode, but it's a matter of like the perspective. I'm like, are we actually teaching kids a lesson here, or are we just kind of making the point but not even addressing it? Because I know, like, in the first episode that we'll review, that actually had some type of huge ramifications, And, also a commentary on not only the youth of the day and even of today, but also the obsession that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like everything else just kind of seemed like, oh yeah, this wouldn't be a thing in the first 20 episodes.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, I'll admit episode 39 was diabolical. But let's be honest, things do get a little Batman season 3-ish. Well, like with the way Catwoman and Poison Ivy in particular were redesigned.
No, that didn't happen until season 4.
No, it was season 3, wasn't it?
No, it was 4. It was season 4. Season 3, they still had the original art, but then around season 4, like midway, like towards the tail end of 3, that's when you started noticing that. Wait.
I thought season 3. Yeah, because season 3 was the one where like Robin's in the theme song.
Yeah, so it was.
Yeah,
it was like
the one I grew up with. That was the season I grew up with.
Yeah, that was Batman and Robin, The Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and then there's like the New Adventures.
Yeah, and then there's New Adventures, which was season 4, which kind of led into the again. Yeah, you were making Superman, but it doesn't mean that you had to make it in the style of Superman. You already had a style. You already had the flair. That's what kind of. But then again, the Schumacher films were already a thing. So
I love how there was a thing where there was like an episode where a bunch of kids were telling their own versions of Batman, and the first kid was basically the Cesar Romero version. There was some other kid named Joel that was just loosely describing the Schumacher version, and then Homegirl, who looks like ginger chick from Dark Knight Returns, actually doing Dark Knight Returns.
That actually was by the creators. That actually was her, but it's like, but that doesn't take place until like years later.
See, let me tell you about Batman. He's like 50 and Robin is a girl. He's like cool. And then it cuts to like the part where like he's fighting the mutants. And I swear, I feel like that specific scene ended up being used in the actual Dark Knight Returns 2-part movie series. Like literally took that clip from Batman and Robin and just put it in there.
That is possibly the most iconic scene in the Frank Miller Batman story, where other than the battle,
when he's fighting the King of Mutants,
he's fighting the King of Mutants and then create the Sons of Batman, where it's like, all right, no, I mean, this Batman doesn't have a successor. He doesn't have anyone that's going to take over the cowl. So if there's a party that will continue on the work in some way, well, there you go.
Yeah, there's a certain irony that what's it called? Gotham of all places ends up being the safest city in America. Gotham, safest. 2 words you would never imagine.
But again, that is the point that I make in reviewing this series, because again, we started off very dark, very mature. But surely and simply put, we have gone back. I know we're still in the Showa era, but we have gone back. We have gone back to the 60s and the 70s level of camp in terms of Kamen Rider storytelling. I mean, this was the thing also that happened in not just Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Godzilla, any type of Toko property. That's where the whole, I mentioned it a few times on this, the Kenny stereotype comes from, the random kid that just knows what's going on, but not the superhero doesn't, the government doesn't, the scientists don't know. It's this little kid that knows so much.
A monster came out and grabbed my mommy. Now you know, dear, there's no such thing as monsters.
And no one questions them. Nobody. We question them now. It's like, how do you know that? Well, back then you have reporters and documentarians like writing down everything this kid says. Like, if it like, how do you know?
Oh yeah, like those old kaiju movies with like Gamera and Mothra and Ghidorah and whatnot.
The Gamera movies were notorious for that because it's like, wait, how come if Gamera is destroying the world and doing all this, why did he save some random kid? Or how do these two Boy Scouts know like the actual anatomy of Gamera? Like, they know that if we go and use the submarine to go into his mouth and try to pull this out, then we can surely start him back up. How do you know that? And again, the premise of here is the same thing because, again, we're dealing with children that, again, it is a children's show, yes. But it's like, we could have told this a little bit better. Could have told it with a little bit more if you wanted to do the Saturday morning PSAs, which in all honesty doesn't happen here. Even the introduction of certain characters, like, obviously the wise guys have now been turned into the three rogues, and their plans are just as batshit crazy. I'm like, well, it made more sense when they were Sajin than they are brawlers, because now it's like, monster, go out and cause trouble. There was a reason why you sent these things out. There were reasons. Now you're just doing it just to be dicks. It's the same thing with Shocker.
Yeah.
You had a plan to drain Japan of all of its natural resources and energy, and yet you sent the monster to go sell ice cream because we're trying to also take the money from little children to screw the economy. Or, you sent the flying squirrel with the jet fuel that, like, apparently is enough to blow up a mountain, and you're just using him to, I don't know.
Yeah.
What before you had people who
well, I'll say this. Episode 39, at least it was diabolical.
It was diabolical, yes. And we'll get into it right now. So, episode 39, The Idol's Evil Power. Yes, idol culture is hella old. You think your Love Lives and your Vocaloids are no. The idol culture has been a thing since ever. As long as there have been young, attractive people performing, there has been idol worship. And that just doesn't apply to singing. It applies to so many other things. Look it up. And also this is also a commentary on pop culture and also the weeb culture as well. So let's get into it.
So there's a new pop idol, and there's an idol singing a song, which I'm gonna be honest, I thought the song was
mid. Well,
it's not particularly impressive, but she keeps saying this particular line. Mogrog. What is this Mogrog? Well, if you've ever seen The Shining, you kind of know where this is going.
Well, also, again, like, this was the 80s, all right? This was 87. It wasn't just rock music that was being attacked. All music, except for good, wholesome music, was being...
Which is defined as...
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. You're telling me that Elvis Presley was good, wholesome music when he was gyrating his hips and talking like a black man on TV? Hell no. How many people were like, how many parents were like, that Elvis is gonna, and Elvis now is like, whatever. You know, Elvis and
You know,
Ellen.
I remember that one video where like that one popular song was like that one very popular song from back then was like being played live by its artist, but a lot of people did not know that the singer of that song happens to be African American. So when they were playing live, like you got all these like white girls being like,
Oh yeah, that was his name was Jimmy something, but yeah, he was on the Ed Sullivan show, and
yeah.
that song was again the key phrase was "Baby, don't you wanna dance?" You know that type of music. It was very floppy, but again, before the internet, before you didn't know who sang it. You didn't know who was there, and it was like again, television wasn't so mainstream or as big as it was in the 70s, you know, like not everyone owned a TV. So can you imagine just hearing the music, but then it's like again, I'm like, whose grandma is this? Whose grandmothers are here showing that? Oh yeah, you just saw them like, I can't cheer, I could just did you know that he was, you know, just hear him sing, you knew, don't lie. But
You
you know,
really wanted.
you see, yeah, it's kind of like everyone says Elvis is the king of rock and roll. No, he's not.
BB
No, he's not.
King, he was the king of rock and roll.
BB King and Little Richard were the king
Right.
and queen of rock
There's
and
a
roll.
reason you say BB King.
I'm like, you know, you have BB King who came with the blues and the jazz and gave me the da-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah, and then you had Little Richard come in with the doo-wops, the fast playing on the piano and all of that. So it's like,
Yeah,
we have rock and roll.
just a tiny pinch of Irish River and like, boop.
Again, look up Little Richard. Tell me that is not the queen of rock and roll right there. Oh, seriously. Yeah. Look, BB King and Little Richard right there. There are others, absolutely. But again, it was 50s, 60s America. So we got to put one of us in the front. We can't let the people know. I'm like, yeah, so Elvis pretty much got it. And I ain't throwing shade on Elvis, but when you look at and see his background and his documentaries, I'm like, the influence he had was like, okay. Anyway, neither here nor there. But yes, idol culture. Like we said, Elvis, Little Richard, BB King, Jimi Hendrix, all these could be considered idols because they performed in front of crowds and they have their fans to this day. Mm-hmm. Bob Marley, Ziggy, his son Ziggy. You got Snoop, Dre, Public Enemy, Ice-T.
Yeah, even John Lennon was down with the beatboxing. I mean, did you not listen to
the Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Eminem, Elton John? All these people could be considered idols because, again, they made their genre of music. The late, great Freddie Mercury, God bless his soul, made opera cool.
Yeah.
No joke. Bohemian Rhapsody is an opera. Don't fucking. He literally said it was an opera. Mm-hmm. So he made opera metal, he made opera into rock. You know, forgive me if I'm gonna get.
Yeah, and Alex Cooper did a lot of like aesthetic frontier work.
Alice Cooper did also Elton John, also Freddie Mercury, Janis Joplin. Jimi Hendrix, obviously, with the burning of guitar on stage and whatnot, like the thematics. Kiss, obviously, Kiss went full on theatrical.
Uh-huh. And then they completely dropped it in the 80s, and they just went like just like no non-makeup 80s glam fashion. You know, like I mean, like look at the album cover of "Lick It Up." It's like look at those fancy blazers they're wearing.
You know what? This is why I was like, that was the day one of my friend's uncles said that was the day that a lot of women went to the doctor to get themselves checked. I'm like, how so? How so, Bobby? He said, you know how many girls just had a thing for Kiss, like especially Gene Simmons, and when he walked out and you saw him without the makeup on, they're like, "Oh, Gene," and then they see him like, "Oh, Gene." Yeah, my sister went to go get herself checked because it's just like, yeah, not a good looking guy, Gene Simmons. He is. Paul Stanley's another thing, but the majority of the band was like, "Yeah, why do you guys think these guys were hot? Take the makeup off."
The makeup off, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like, when it comes to the looks department without the makeup, Eric Carr was probably the most handsome, followed by Bruce Kulick, and then Eric Singer.
I mean, you take away the glam and you just show who they are. It's like, yeah, there you go. There you go. I mean, but again, that's the level of idol culture. You got the bands, you got the roadies, you got the people that follow you and continuously follow you all the way to the end. And was it any different overseas in Japan? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, you know how 80s J-pop has been a thing lately? Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, that stuff really slapped. That music was like, if there was ever, like, obviously you have the 80s of America, but when you hear a J-pop song from the 80s, you're just like,
oh yeah, like honestly, do you know how much of a vibe Black RX's theme song is? Not even Black RX's theme song, like da da hitori no da da kai.
Say that one of my favorite songs from the 80s was one called Plastic Love.
I love that one.
That one is a good one, and
honestly, when it comes to like Taiko no Tatsujin, like the pop section, you know how you have the anime section, the variety section, the operatic section, the Vocaloid section. In the pop section, Plastic Love is probably my most played song in that game.
No,
and unfortunately, it's just as tragic as Stay With Me, but I mean, in apples and oranges, but still tragic.
No, yeah.
Great song.
But it's such a vibe, and that just describes this era of TV and music, because as again, we have this pop star who is, again, as you said, singing a song that is not very good, but it's catchy. For some reason, she keeps repeating this phrase over and over and over again. And it's like, again, it's like, okay, she got popular. And it's like, yeah, but it's almost ridiculously popular how she got, she sang that one song once live on national television. And now people are buying up her products, her actual video cassette tapes, which a lot of people like. What are those? It's pretty much the precursor to getting likes on YouTube or any social media. If it was by sales, not just by CDs, or were CDs a thing at this time? I think they were.
Yeah.
I think CDs were.
Yeah. CDs were relatively new at the time, but cassettes were definitely a thing back then. Like even like in the 90s, it's like whenever like you had an infomercial, it's like, you could get this on 2 CDs and 2 cassettes. Just remember to pay shipping and handling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this just causes, I guess, Kotaro to fall, because he actually does feel some type of influence here. Because when she was singing her,
it's like he's a little more self-aware of it, but he is affected.
I mean, he's affected, but it's not. I mean, it's more like it gives him dizzy spells. It's not like everyone else who heard it, and it's like the Pied Piper of Hamlet, where you're now entranced by the tune that you are now, and again, by Shadow Moon and by the Three Wise Guys' plan, we are using this girl and her music to influence society and media, to make them into mindless slaves. Okay, so the more they hear the song, the more that they recognize her, they will be under our control and we can do whatever it is we're gonna do with the rest of society.
The fiends.
No, yeah, definitely, because again,
And it actually works.
it actually works. This is like, you know what? That sounds stupid, but my God, it's genius. It really is, because you're using pop culture. You're using what is, again, it's like kids being on their tablet or on their phones all the time and just constantly using like some influencer to like, well, it has happened, obviously, about like to just like do things that would wreck society. And even so, the point is like, yeah, so Kotaro kind of figures it out because little sis winds up telling him, look at her VHS cover. Look at this. It's Malgom. I'm like, yeah, but just like The Shining, but she didn't say it. It's like, didn't hold it up to a mirror. But if you say it backwards, it says Golgum.
No, those fiends.
You dare use the media to propagate your evil Illuminati bias?
Red rum.
Like that, like seriously, Fox News hasn't been doing that like since forever, even though Fox is not a thing at this point in time in the world.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, because she actually releases a second tape that tells all her loyal fans, you see this guy right here, again, social media. You see this asshole over here? See this guy? You should go beat him up. You should go get him. He's bothering me. He's really, and she gives the anime eyes and the, oh, woe is me. He is harassing me. You guys should really go beat him up. And I'm like, well, this doesn't take me back. Believe you me, I had a couple of runs with those girls, those type of people back in my heightened popularity in the nerdy world. And well, that's why I say I'm semi-retired, because
you're just keeping your distance. It's like you're admiring from a distance. You're walling yourself up. You're like Sebastian from Totally Spies. You're enjoying from a soundproof barrier.
I'm pretty much like, it's not even a workout when you send like 10 weebs my way. Like I just don't want to deal with the aftermath. Like seriously, I don't want to deal with it. Send like, oh, you sent 10 guys to whatever, and then I come back and throw them on your damn doorstep. It's like, yeah, don't be leaving your trash on my side of the world, please.
Yeah. So next time, send 100.
So yes, we find out there is an actual girl. There is an actual girl.
And her visage is being copied.
She's being copied by
they've been AI before you have the thing.
Copyright, because not only is this girl is a fake, but it's like, oh wait, is it just like Nilly Vanilli or many others where it's like beautiful, gorgeous girl on the outside, and it's just some dude in the back with the microphone because
you mean Randy?
Sing. Yeah, she can't sing. She can't do anything. So yeah, we have a millipede mutant.
Millipede, vanillipede.
Yeah, we for some reason, wait, so you kidnapped the actual girl, keeping her hostage, not doing anything to her. But the millipede is just, I mean, you couldn't have brainwashed this one? Did you really need, I mean, the Kaijin could have been like a bodyguard or something for her. Why did we?
I mean, if they establish that it's the millipede itself that's doing the brainwashing, but its powers only works if you like hold the person hostage, kind of like a polyjuice potion type of situation.
Yeah.
Okay, I could buy it, but you never clarified it.
Yeah, there really was no reason for the millipede to be there. It's kind of like, well, you could have made a couple of bodyguards or something. Or, maybe like, hey, you guys created the persona from a dead idol. Like, can you like, oh yeah, no, she was prominent but sadly this happened. But it's like then this other girl came, did her songs, and it's like, but strangely, she does kind of sort of look like the one that died. No, not even that. Not even that.
That's literally the plot of Gundam Seed Destiny, where like freaking Durandal picked out Mir specifically because she looked just similar, like bone structure looked just similar enough to Lacus Klein that they surgically reconstructed her face and hair to make her look just like Lacus, and then gave her throat surgery to make her sound like her, gave her singing lessons to make her sound like her, even had a whole sound editing crew to make her recordings also sound like Lacus, just so that we would have a fake Lacus sponsor or chairman Durandal. And the only evidence
we're talking about
was a photo. Right? What?
We're talking about Lacus Klein, right?
I'm talking about Mir, who impersonated Lacus Klein from Gundam Seed Destiny.
Okay, because I was like, wait a minute, because I know Lacus was actually again.
No. Lacus was a real person. She was a coordinator.
But again, if we ever talk about Gundam at any point, oh, I don't want politics in my anime. Gundam is nothing but, because at the time that show was airing, it was during the time of stem cells and also genetically altering babies in the womb.
Dolly, the sheep.
Yeah, Dolly the sheep too, because it's we also could do that with human embryos too. So if you wanted a girl or a boy to look a certain way or do something, we could actually do that if we are.
I remember there was an Abigail Breslin movie where she was born for the explicit purpose of donating her organs to her older sister who's dying of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Her very purpose for existing is harvesting her organs for her older sister. And by the way, her older sister was against it. She didn't want her younger sister to be an organ donor.
Wasn't that a movie?
That's a movie. Alec Baldwin was her lawyer.
Yeah, that was one of the Fanning sisters, right? Dakota and Ellie?
No. Abigail Breslin was the younger sister. I don't know who played the older sister. I think the mom I think was played by Cameron Diaz, but I don't remember. It was a very famous actress from the 90s. That's what I remember.
But so idol culture.
And what's funny is that the only person to call it out was Nobuhiko's girlfriend.
Yeah, because she realized that, hey, something's up here.
This feels like the devil's music. And I'm not talking about Dio or Ozzy or Alice or Kiss. No, I'm talking about actual devil's music.
Well, again, it was the 80s, so they were really the subliminal messages in music, and not just in rock, but in pop music as well. Because again, in the 80s, Madonna was a thing. And again, what subliminal messages were there? She literally said it. There were no subliminal messages. It was in the music. So I'm that's kind of the thing, is that, because of this one idol girl, we have a bunch of weebs and a bunch of dorks attacking Kotaro. And we do get a little bit of an interference between the three wise guys with Black, obviously, but that really goes nowhere.
Yeah,
only for the millipede to get a rider kick and then destroyed. And we, for some reason, actually, it's little sis that actually finds our idol and actually gets her out and protects her.
Yeah, what's really interesting is how different Shadow Moon is from Belgenia when it comes to the Wiseman's plans. It's like Belgenia would always run interference. It's no, I must kill Black. But Shadow Moon's Oh yeah, no, I'll let you do your plan. I'll let you do your plan. You go do boo boo. And it's like, theoretically, it's like, yeah, it's their plans are more menacing. It's like, oh yeah, this is actually a very clever plan. But the thing is, it's like, why didn't you do this sooner? Why'd you wait till after Shadow Moon showed up for you to do this master plan?
Again, just because their intelligence is up doesn't mean that their social skills are. Because again, remember, they look at the three wise guys look at society as a whole as just a bunch of maggots and fools. They would our plan is to secretly infiltrate. And but that is the plan. Why not use what is already established and then secretly put in your subliminal messaging or something?
We are a secret club because of our agenda.
You didn't think of that, now did you? You three again. They have the as they say, if you're intelligent in IQ, you're stupid in social cues. You don't realize like what a valuable asset that could be. But now, again, and again, really good idea. Really good idea. Yeah. It was only because Kotaro figured it out that it was thwarted. So I'm like, no, this is actually one episode. I'm like, I can't blame stupidity here. I can't blame ignorance or someone's interference. No, Kotaro figured it out along with the fam, and they stopped it and they saved the girl.
Yeah, and also what's really cool is that Kyoko actually managed to save Kotaro in this episode with the help of Battle Hopper. Like, Battle Hopper just straight up shows up to her. And
yeah, that's right. Battle Hopper just randomly showed up. So I'm like, okay.
It's like, get in, loser.
I'm like, I know. I mean, Kotaro has never once stated that he is the Kamen Rider, but somehow along the way, these two figured it out and have just boldly accepted it. And now, and again, some people argue like, oh, they don't know. How do you explain little Sith knowing who Battle Hopper is?
Yeah, like she pretty much figured it out in episode 34. Well, at the end of episode 34.
Yeah, there have been people that say, like, yeah, the sisters never knew throughout the whole series. I'm like, how do you explain this then?
Yeah, like maybe if you said Nobuhiko's girlfriend, but then again, it's like episode 36. They're all together. He even like Loki transforms in front of them.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, I've seen many people just review like, yeah, this is the one Kamen Rider that no one knew who the Kamen Rider was. I'm like, then explain this part, because again, like just like you said, Battle Hopper shows up and he's like, get on, girly, we're gonna go cause mayhem, and it's like, how do you know Battle Hopper? How that continuity? No, they already knew. They know that Kotaro is black. They just again are playing with everyone like, yeah, the Kamen Rider. Mary Jane Watson figured it out with Spider-Man. Selena Kyle knew that it was Bruce Wayne. Lois Lane knew it was Superman with Clark Kent. Do you think they actually went off and bragged about it?
No,
they kept it like, because they knew, like, no, we can't divulge that information, even though Gorgum already knows who Black is because they made him. But it's like, but it's for the protection of everyone else, because again, the more people that Kotaro knows, the more susceptible he is. So yeah, but yeah, that was episode 39.
Yeah.
The idol's evil power, which again, not bad. I will say out of most of the second phase of Black, this episode did not fall under any of the tropes.
Yeah.
It was, they solved it, they did it, and
they were legitimately challenged here.
Yeah, no, nobody interfered. There was no like mess up or screw up. Hell, even the idol, it's like, no, it was all the millipede. Although
Yeah.
I will say, if we had 2 bodyguards, we could have used these two random
Animated.
these 2 random mannequins we have that we're not even using in these episodes. Why did we even introduce them 8 episodes?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with Mara and Kara. Like,
I swear to God, it makes no sense to me. I'm like, why? You could have had 2 bodyguards for her because she would need them, but you didn't do that. So
yeah, it's like they're about as memorable as Toko and Yoko.
oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah, like you see that rhyme pattern. Like at
yeah,
least Choco like had a lot of like funny one-liners. Like, and she does become a wrestler after the show ended. But
yeah.
no, it's like you ain't no Mari, Yuri, and Michi.
No, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we move on to episode 40, the Karate Master's Secret. And we have a special guest on today's episode. I don't
It's
have my
Mel
glass.
Fujitsu.
Yes, we have Masashi. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on right now. Ishibushi, who played Iron Claw in Jacka, Commander Horrid in Battle Fever J, and General Carr in Dynaman. He also,
AKA Mel Fujitsu from Dynaman.
and also later on played Bomba Dr. Lehada in Turbo Ranger. A very prolific actor in Toko and Japanese cinema of the time. He also done a couple of Ultra and Godzilla films. The man sadly passed away in 2018 of natural causes. He was 85. Greatly honored by the Kamen Riders and Sentais for his work. I could have sworn that I looked at this old man and I said, isn't that Black Shogun? No. But I did know who he was. He did look familiar because the way he spoke, the way he acted, I was like, I've heard that before. Where have I seen him before? And I'm like, oh yeah, because the first time I ever watched an actual like Showa Sentai, I actually watched the Battle Fever, the Battle Fever Gold Ranger crossover, and he was Iron Claw, like, with the big, God knows what the hell that thing was, and a mannequin style hand that he just like you could seriously tell he's like holding it, but the claw is out here. Oh yeah. So we honor our guest by saying who he is and was in acting. So our episode 40, we are dealing with a salamander mutant that is going around and causing trouble in the mountainsides. Why in particularly the mountains?
No reason.
He's a salamander, that's why. Yeah, we have this whole thing with the young boy and his grandfather trying, like, again, just martial arts training, I guess. And again, I couldn't tell you what the plan is from Shadow Moon here. In fact, I don't really remember it. It wasn't even a plot. They just literally sent a salamander mutant to the countryside, and a very remote side of the countryside, to, I don't know. They just mentioned that the salamander is able to camouflage itself and is able to pick off any human that comes within its vicinity. Yep. So you're sending a stealth combatant to a remote forest area. Why? This isn't the Predator, babies. There's not like a military faction out there. Maybe John Winston saw this episode and got the idea for the Predator here. I don't know. But yeah, we wind up just, getting this whole thing about this little boy claims that his grandfather is a martial arts master. That's why he lives out here in the middle of nowhere. Because naturally that's what you do. If you're a martial arts master, you're not in the city. You're out in the middle of. You ever heard of peace and quiet, kid? You ever heard of just getting away from it all and the fresh air, the fresh spring water and the mountain breeze, living off the land?
Mm-hmm. Some people do it just because that's what they enjoy.
I don't look at it's not technically the hermit's life because there is a town right over there. So a convenience is the name. I
just like the aesthetic of living on a mountain.
I'm like, well, no, I'm within a close of a Walmart or a gas station, so I just like being out here. And apparently the kid just believes that his grandfather is a martial arts master, and not to disappoint his grandson, who apparently, and this is by the episode, was abandoned by his parents at the train station. Mm-hmm. So, mother and father of the year, right there. You tell your elderly father that we're coming, and instead of going to visit, you end up putting the kid on the dock, and then getting back on the train and leaving. Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's really interesting because when the monster attacks, it's like, and like the boy's in danger. Grandpa freezes.
Well, Grandpa.
I mean, he's right to freeze. It totally makes sense. I mean, like if you saw a giant salamander, like what would you do?
I mean, people freak out when they see the regular salamanders, and they can be pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
There is a species of salamander that's about yay big. Mm. So imagine seeing that thing. Like, you'd freak the fuck out too. So imagine seeing one that's like 6 foot even.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be so crazy for you to be like, yeah, but Grandpa tells Kotaro this. He's like, yeah, well, I've kind of kept the illusion because my grandson, he's the only family that that he's got now, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I get what you're saying. But again, it's like, yeah, the salamander attacks, the kid gets attacked. But again, Kotaro's actually, he ran interference and, this and that. And, like, the kid is mad at his grandfather because he didn't throw himself in front of the damn thing before. And I'm like, so Kotaro took the blow and your grandfather did what he was supposed to and get you out. But now you're mad at your grandpa because he didn't throw himself into the mouth of the demon.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand why your parents left you on that train station, Doc. You're a little shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're literally a little shit. Like, your grandfather takes you on runs and, and martial arts hikes and, lifting boulders and whatnot. And he's a man.
The boulder is conflicted about attacking a blind little girl. Sounds to me like you're scared, Boulder. The boulder is over his conflicted feelings. Bring it on, the pebble.
Yeah, God bless Randy Savage. Really made a lot of children with that.
Was that really Randy Savage playing the Randy Savage parody character?
I think it was Randy Savage because that was before his untimely demise.
Because I know Randy Savage played Bonesaw McGraw in
Well,
Spider-Man.
remember, Randy Savage at that point, Macho Man Randy Savage had already retired from wrestling, but he was such an icon via his voice and his attitude. It's like,
Step into a Slim Jim.
you just had to get the in that intro. Actually, wait, let's double check that. Because I know I did hear that it was him.
Mm-hmm. The Boulder from Avatar. He is. Hold on, let me check. He is played.
It was Mick Foley.
Nice.
It's mankind himself, Mick Foley. He was doing a Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation.
That's crazy.
And on a lighter note, Mick Foley, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving back into the review. Yeah, kid, you're a piece of shit. Because any parent, any family member would have gotten you out of there, not, what the hell? What's your deal?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like the grandpa said, he never said he was a martial artist. It's just his grandkid just literally believes he is.
Just assumed.
He just assumed.
And to quote from a movie starring the late Peter Green, may he rest in peace. Assumption is the mother of all screw ups. Of course, I changed the last word, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although to be fair, screw ups was the original word, but then they changed it for the movie.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm saying the original version.
There is a moment here where, again, it's all just a matter of how you see it and how you look at it. The kid winds off running off, being mad at his grandpa because his grandpa's a coward. And what winds up happening is grandpa actually, dumbass kid gets caught by the salamander again.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, Kotaro's not there to run interference. It's got to be Grandpa.
Yep.
And you know what, Grandpa, we give you mad respect because even though, fear is a natural reaction. Fear is within everybody, and even the most bravest of people have fear when they're in a very vulnerable area, in a very vulnerable spot.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who said it, but it's like, if you don't have fear, or a man has no fear,
you have no true life.
You have no life, and you are not even a man. For we are not boulders, we are not stones, we have emotions. We have but you fought that alligator. Like, you weren't afraid. Who said I wasn't afraid?
Yeah, it's like that scene from Powerpuff Girls. It's like, being brave doesn't mean you're not scared of anything. It means you have the willingness to face things you're afraid of doing. When I heard my daughter scream, I was scared that something bad might have happened to them. But you still went upstairs to check, like a responsible adult.
But again, kids don't get that. They just know that it's like, well, you didn't do it first. I'm like, yeah, you're scared. You're scared. First off, kid, shut up, because you were like yelling and screaming 5 minutes ago for someone to save you when you could have, like, I don't know, run out of the way, throw some sand in the Kaijin's face or something. No, but Grandpa stood there and was holding down the fort. But the reason for that is kind of breaking the myth about salamanders, because right behind Grandpa is a burning flame. And the reason why the salamander was scared was because, due to popular belief, salamanders are not fire retardant.
No, as a matter of fact, they're quite the opposite. They're amphibian, which means that their bodies take on a lot of water and require regular intake of moisture and extreme heat. It dissipates that moisture, which causes severe illnesses. And being true to their interoceptive needs, they instinctively flee from massive heat sources.
In short, salamander water. What happens to water when it's by fire? It evaporates. So
hot air, as they say.
Must run because, nothing is immune to fire. Fire is pretty much like the end all to be all. And again, why do people assume that? Well, again, some wise guys, some smart asses back in the day, when they would get logs or anything and put them on fire, they would notice when the fire is roaring, they notice salamanders exiting out of the wood, out of the logs. And
so they just assumed, no, the salamanders were born from it, rather than you're just trying to GTFO.
They went to college. They immediately assumed that salamanders are born aflame.
Igneous, as they say.
You know, we have come a long way. But again, it's kind of like, a woman with a lot of cats and knew how to properly clean and dress a wound or a gash. 'Tis a witch. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what's her name? Dracula's wife from Castlevania.
You know, I saw that and I'm like, this ain't gonna end well for them. This ain't gonna end well. This is not. That's why I'm like, you know what? I forget what it is, but whenever they do those shows on Netflix or whatever, where they take a modern woman and throw them back in time to the old days, I'm like, can you just imagine how more advanced society would have been? But instead, you burned her at the stake.
Yeah. Imagine being in Waterworld, because I'm watching that movie right now, and having the most efficient desalinator device, and then freaking destroying it, thinking it's witchcraft. Congratulations, you destroyed the your only source of fresh water to drink.
Because it is witchcraft. Oh man, maybe Golgum has actually got something going on here. But yeah, the salamander obviously doesn't like fire because it's majority water based. The same if a person was close by a very huge flame, you're not gonna stick close to it. You're gonna get the hell out of there. Which causes enough interference for Kotaro to show up and actually fight the salamander. And yeah, I mean, again, not much happens other than Kotaro beating the salamander, and we still keep the story that the grandfather is some martial arts master, even though he's now got a dojo full of kids now.
When did you get your when did you get your Yondan? Because I don't recall you even being an E-dan.
Well, I mean, obviously the old man just says, that he teaches the basics. He's not teaching any secret turtle hermit arts or anything like that. But yeah, while the last episode had a really good premise, we go back to the Kennys, and this is really a Kenny heavy eccentric episode because it's all about miscommunication, misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Whoever said the grandpa was a martial artist, and also, again, why did the salamander need to be out in the forest?
Why indeed?
This could have worked better if it was like, instead of Predator, we could have gone into Predator 2 and put it in the city.
Oh man, Predator 2 was such a great movie.
You're one of the few people that actually say that.
I mean, it's the one I grew up with. Like, you have those nostalgia glasses. Look, there's people who would say that Hannibal was the best Hannibal Lecter movies. Obviously, I'm not one of them, but they exist.
No, I know.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Red Dragon was kind of like the weaker of the three,
We don't
but
talk.
it is what it is. I only watched Hannibal Rising once, so I can't really comment on that.
Let's see here. Now we go into the third episode in our review, The Dangerous Time Thief, which, oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 41 of Kamen Rider Black, featuring the very first time in a Kamen Rider series that they ever used the gimmick of time travel.
And the only time during the Showa era.
Now, again, time travel, you say. That could open up a lot of things, yeah, but it really doesn't make much sense here, you know? As also, like, it didn't make much sense until years later when we found out, how did the young teenage boy become friends with a decrepit old scientist living next to a Burger King? How did that happen? Is he his uncle? Is he family? Is he... No, they're just random strangers that apparently were in a counterfeit bootlegging ring and happened to get their hands on a DeLorean and a butt ton of plutonium.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the mainly what this episode is a young boy grieves over the loss of his father because about 9 episodes ago we killed his dad and he's just been acting out. And because of that, apparently one random day, a couple of samurai from the feudal era show up with a time machine.
At least when that one movie happened, the one where that armor unit from World War II ended up in feudal Japan, at least they explain how a solar flare created a time distortion where they ended up in the feudal era. But can you imagine, like, an Oda Nobunaga just like rolling around on his horse and right next to him is a panzer?
It would have made more sense if it was Nobu.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Nobunaga himself, obviously a historical figure, has always been quite a mystery to people.
Yeah, and he loves Western technology.
I mean, again, the premise of this episode again makes no sense because, okay, I get it. Back when Shadow Moon was first introduced, like 8 or 9 episodes ago, obviously he juiced up the Seijin and made them into these super mutants, hyphen on the super, and became and of course they caused havoc and killed a lot of people, which affected this young boy because not only did he get caught in the crowd and whatnot, but his father was in the firing range of the 3 wise guys. So they actually confirmed he's dead. He died.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, that's actually a very realistic point to make. How do children or do people in this universe deal with the fact that they were literally attacked by a secret Illuminati cult that now exists? Because again, now everyone knows about Golgum because, of course, they had their idol that continuously chanted their name in reverse.
Mm-hmm. Red rum, red rum, red rum.
But how does that, how do people feel? Like, can they do anything? Do they feel helpless? And a child would, because the child just wants its father back. And it's very relatable. But how does this all tie into time travel? It doesn't. It kind of does, but not really. Because
we just needed a B plot.
Out of nowhere, two random samurai just pop in the middle of what seems to be downtown Tokyo. And again, clad in full armor. One has a katana, the other one has a spear, and they're just like, what is this? What's going on? Where are we? I don't know. Where did you guys come from? I want to feel like maybe Ichiro Oda had maybe seen this episode, and maybe that's where he got the idea for
Wano.
For Wano, but also for Momonosuke and his band of samurai, because the fact that they were sent in time from their current point to the future, it's like, again, randomly, but at least we know why it happened. We know why it happened and how it happened. These two guys show up with a box. And the box, again, has little levers and knobs and things, that not only affect the distortion of time for passage, but also time itself. 1 minute it's raining, next thing it's snowing. 1 minute it's dark, next thing it's bright. And the people are in their pajamas. Now they're not. It's like, so this isn't time travel. This is actually the mastery of time and physics, what you are messing with in the space-time continuum, which could possibly cause ripples and cause a rip within the dimension.
Even just a samurai knowing about cell phones could be a problem.
Even the fact that these two bozos are looking at a donut and it's like, ooh. Oh, yeah, that's right. But again, it's just salt. It's just sugared bread. Yeah, but not like this. Okay, so we have some people in the past who got future tech, and now they're literally having an awesome adventure. Not the Keanu Reeves kind of awesome adventure, but just an adventure nonetheless.
You sure it ain't just a bogus journey?
I don't know. Do we have a Keanu Reeves clip? You can.
Sadly, we don't. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to face the music.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's whack, bro. Anyway,
What the hell is that?
How they got this box, where they came from, we don't know. We don't know. They just showed up and they're just screwing around with it like monkeys with blocks. Just like, And apparently the kid sees this and he's like, he just puts two and two together. They have a time machine. I could take it from them and I can go see my dad. You want to go see your dad die again? Really?
Remember, your death dying is a fixed point in time. You can't change that.
Sick little man. Because again, what happens when you mess with time? I mean, not really a favorite movie of mine, but it makes the point very clear. Go watch the Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. No matter what the hell he did, it's like, yeah, even though you did, you fucked yourself. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Your dad's dying is a set point in time that even if you did happen to change it, what would happen later on? Someone's got to die. And if it ain't your dad, it's going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so again, not really a premise here that I fully understand or get. We have another samurai that shows up. Kind of looks like Mitsurugi from Soul Calibur.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that this is a Cobra mutant.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that Golgum is by the lore of this story, is centuries, millennia old. So I'm not too shocked that there were Golgum monsters and mutants running around in feudal Japan. Maybe that leads into the legends of yokai and yurei and ayakashis, such as the lore of Japan. But why instinctively did the Cobra come out of a time stream?
Yeah, I have to say.
What the hell is that?
There really was. I mean, hell, Golgum didn't even make an appearance in this episode.
No. I mean, in a flashback, yes, but not like
not Shadow Moon, not Balgenia, not the Three Wise Guys. It's just the Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so the Cobra. Just what? Did they already have this machine? Did he drop it? Did they take it from him? What was Golgum just kind of like, nah, today's Sunday. We're having brunch right now. We're having
lots of steal our tacos and we need to take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, Sundays are lots and bagels day here, so we can't really be disturbed right now. We'll hit you up on Monday. Yeah, because again, the Cobra is just here and just causing trouble. It's like, wait, so did they say no? This was already a thing. Apparently, the Cobra it exists in this interdimensional gap of time. So did Golgum back when send the Cobra, or like was the Cobra doing something? What, I don't know, but I guess they forgot about him. It's like he's doing his thing. It's just that, oh yeah, we did send a Cobra. How's that how's that going? How's that working out for us? Going. We haven't heard anything from him, so things must be all right. Okay. Again, not much happens here at all. We have the premise of time travel. We have the premise of changing key events, which no matter what you do, it ain't going to turn out good. Because we do have a moment with Nobu and Kotaro again, but then he gets pulled away from that by the Cobra, and now we have the three random samurai and the kid just floating like Peabody and Sherman through the time force.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just waiting for some beagle to walk by and just say, "Quiet, you." Yeah, you know,
and a lot of weird stuff is happening in the aftermath, because of the time machine, time distortion device. You know, you got a car turning into a wagon, and you got cops and robbers turning into enforcers and a ninja.
People are
schoolgirls turning into kimono girls.
People's ages are reverting from adults to children,
and vice versa.
I'm just okay, but is that really?
And then suddenly all of time freezes, except for Kotaro. So I'm like, what in the devil's advocate is this?
Are you just not affected by time, Kotaro? Is that a thing that the Kingstone allows you to do? Is that you are just not affected by time? Because you're the only one that's actually still moving around while everyone is frozen in time. Or it could be that you're just moving way too fast and everyone is moving way too slow. Either or, I'm like, you know, this is why it's not really a good thing to use time travel unless you really hammered it in of like, okay, I know what I'm going to write and I know what I'm going to do. Okay.
Yeah. And then it just so happens that... Gorgamar like observes that, these humans are completely frozen because of the Cobra mutants using the power of its full abilities. Good job, Master Shadow Moon. Your plan is amazing. And then Shadow was just like standing there, and I know like he just looks stoic and menacing, but on the inside, it's like he's probably thinking, "What are they all talking about? I didn't do any of this. I don't even know where this Cobra even came from."
Yeah, he's giving that famous JonTron like look, like
What?
wait, what? Should I say something? This is messed up, dude. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, like he's just standing there, just like, you know what? There's a good reason why you're not showing your face, because I know the helmet is just stoic as all hell, but behind you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm gonna take credit for it anyway. Yeah.
Yo, I always had this idea for a spin-off to Yu Yu Hakusho. Like there's like this girl, I forgot her name. I think it's Kyoko. I could be wrong. Like in episode 3 of Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke takes over her body and then beats up a bunch of hooligans because they were gonna try to beat up Kuwabara on his way to a test. And
yeah.
and even commenting, this girl's even tough. Hits even harder than Urameshi. And like I always had this idea of a spin-off where it's like where like people start worshiping her as like the leader of a delinquent gang, but like she's too terrified to like comment on it, so she basically ends up failing upwards in the school mafia hierarchy.
Yeah, no, I would. I mean, it would work out. That does make a very good point, and that would be an interesting side story for them.
Yeah.
Although I'm like, again, possession or any type of like time manipulation is so hard to do completely, because there's rules and there's all this stuff that you would think it'd just be simple, go back in time and but what are the after effects of you doing that? What happens? I don't know. Maybe we could have stopped Golgum from actually doing what they did to you.
Yeah, but then he actually tries that.
He actually tries, and it doesn't do a damn thing because, in fact, it actually escalated even more. Which they did keep the principles of time travel. It's like, don't fuck with anything because it's already gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, then it's either gonna affect the future or it's gonna affect right now, and it's gonna be even worse.
Yeah,
so,
and
regardless,
but yeah, he tries to like warn Nobuhiko to not go to the birthday party.
Yeah,
but Nobuhiko can't hear him, and then he ends up back in the time warp before he could do anything else. And then the younger Kotaro shows up. Hey, it's good to see you. Ready to go to the birthday party? I'm excited.
Again, it's kind of like Adam Sandler's The Remote.
Yeah, clip
where he has like that moment that he's like with like it's future him with his dad who's Henry Winkler, and he's trying to have a moment with his son, but he's like,
no, I'm too busy because he's on autopilot.
Yeah, and it's like it's Sandler just yelling at him like, "You're a moron! You fucking suck!" Like that, like
it's a stupid coin trick.
Just again, it's like, yeah, I mean, again, the premise of time travel, because you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be involved in this time or in this scene.
So he tries to use the rewind to like go back to the last time he saw his father before he died. Yeah. And like the thing is, he can't do anything about it, like because it's a flashback. It's like you can't do anything to things that already happened. So the closest he could do is just like freeze the moment to a point where like he just happens to have his arms out just enough that so like he could hug his dad. But even then, because it's a flashback, he can't like physically touch his dad even while frozen. And it's not like his dad would even feel it.
Yeah. So It's the same thing with Kotaro and Nobu, because again, this has already happened. Kotaro, you can't do it. It's the same thing with the kid. You can't change time because it's already happened.
Yeah.
The past is the past. That is what it is. As as a wise old turtle said, no, the future is unknown. The past is forgotten, but today is a gift.
Yeah, I would also say that David Bowie once said, "Time can change me, but I can't change time."
So, regardless, I mean, other than a rider kick to the Cobra, which that was a thing, right? Yeah. So what happened? What was the aftermath of all that? What did we save the kid's dad? Did we destroy the DeLorean on the train tracks? Did we? No, we did none of that. The samurai just decided to leave with the box and not.
They did help save the boy at least.
They didn't really do much of it. Well, they did save the boy, but then they just left and bye, kind of like a dick-headed move by Doctor Who, just bye, just leave. Yeah. And I guess the kid realizes, you're
just gonna have to live with your reality.
Yeah, live with the reality that your dad's dead, and it wasn't your fault. Mm-hmm. But try to live a better life and make your father proud. Which I know it's a kid, but there could have been a better way to tell him that than going through this bogus adventure.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Heck, this could have been 2 separate episodes, and they could have both been very interesting. But it's because you try to cram them both into the same 24 minutes that becomes the issue.
Yeah. So... be as it may, that was the dangerous time thief. Go on to the next episode, episode 42, Tokyo, Big Monster Gathering.
So they finally have an interesting idea. What if we send a bunch of monsters at the same time?
You mean that old trope?
Like we did 3 times already?
And we did how many times in Ichigo? I thought you only had one. Well, in this case, I know that Golgum has many of these things, so I'm all right, fine. But
apparently they're running low now.
Yeah. And they care. They care about their mutants. Then why? Yeah. So let's see here. What do I have written down on my notes?
So then Shadow Moon's like, okay, well, if you can't bring them back to life, then if you can't summon a bunch of them, then why don't you bring back to life a bunch of dead ones? So he summons a Muska mutant, which, let's be honest, is one of the creepier designs we've seen so far, because they kind of combine a little bit of a present day Kamen Rider Black costume design with some of that old school 1971 costume design, where you could kind of see a human's face underneath the rubber mask.
They have the big fly head, but then you see right in the middle from the mouth
right above the proboscis, a tiny human eyes.
Yeah. So I'm was David Cronenberg's The Fly already? No, that was in 88 or 89. So a little precursor to what is to come, but so do flies have just a way of making illusions or something to bring all these monsters back to life?
Yeah.
Because
by the way, the fly came out in 86, so yeah, no.
Okay, so it's a year later. Instead of summoning other of the same species, which we all know that they do have, they just again decide to give the fly illusionary powers to make it that the past mutants come back instead of actually getting real mutants.
This is actually, I just learned something very interesting. So the short story that the fly is based on by George Langeland. It was actually originally published, and I'm surprised myself, in the June 1957 issue of Playboy magazine, of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, when they said they were reading the articles back in old school Playboy, they weren't kidding. I actually personally myself seen some vintage Playboys back in the day, and when you said articles, you ain't kidding me.
Oh yeah, no. Like I still keep that one December issue of Playboy where they interview Conan O'Brien on page 53, where like he discusses the 1 year anniversary of the show Conan. Because remember, like he was originally on the Late Show, and then he was moved up to the Tonight Show. But then like he got kicked out because they wanted to bring Jay Leno back.
No, it's because Jay Leno bitched because no one was going to see him on tour, so he wanted his show back.
Yeah, so they brought Jay Leno back. Well, and the crazy part is Jay Leno had a separate show right before Conan O'Brien called the Jay Leno Show. And then they just got rid of the Jay Leno Show, moved him to Tonight Show, and kicked Conan to the curb. So of course TBS picked up Conan O'Brien and called it Conan. And I remember the very first episode, Seth Rogen was his main guest.
Yeah, and Conan still goes on to this day while Jay is over here licking his wounds because no one likes him anymore. So fuck you, Jay.
Yeah, so like 1 year anniversary of Conan, like Playboy magazine interviewed him, and it's a great interview. Like he talks about a lot of stuff, like his relationship with his wife, his experience writing for The Simpsons, some anecdotes from when he himself was in high school, and he says one of the most profound things I've ever read in a magazine, where he says, I want to live my life as if I did that today I did one push-up more than I did yesterday. But yesterday I only did one push-up. Like, that line hits hard.
Yeah, it means to be more productive, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
just try to be better than your previous self,
But yeah, for some
Cronenberg's The Fly. Yeah, so this little kid, he becomes possessed
by the Fly.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fontoon from Metroid.
It is quite well. It's interesting, honestly. Like, why this kid?
Mm-hmm.
Why especially this kid? What's the connection, or what's the end goal here? Bullgum.
Coincidence, maybe.
Just
grab the first kid by this lake.
Because apparently the kid also is being used as, I guess, a conductor or a projector to summon the other dead mutants. Which, again, if this is a classification that you guys have multiples of these things, why not just... I'm pretty sure they might want to avenge their former kin, but...
Yeah.
No, we must make illusions, but they're very sturdy illusions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, it just so happens that the younger brother of the kid that got possessed has even stronger psychic energy than the older brother who got possessed.
And that's why the Fly didn't get him, because even though he is very more powerfully psychic, doesn't mean that it's easy for the Fly to manipulate him. It's kind of like a natural barrier that the little brother has compared to his older brother.
Yeah. When you think about it, it's kind of like Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you could see like a bunch of classic mutants from this green dimension. And now they're starting to respawn. Like there's even the cactus dude and the flower dude and the spider dude.
Yeah, again, when you look at all the mutants that appeared from episode 1 to 15, you totally notice how it was so much more gorier and so much more like scary as compared to after episode 15.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You had an eagle, you had the rhinoceros, and a couple of the insects. But in all honesty, it just seemed like after the tonal switch happened, it's like your monsters became more generic than actual mutants. Like the spider mutants in the first episode, you not only saw spiders, but they were also like humanoid. You had like human faces with spider eyes or fangs or stuff like that. It was very grotesque looking as compared to like
Rhino Man.
the salamander of all things, or the silkworm.
Yeah. Kotaro encounters them at a police station, tries to fight him off, but because they phase out, he can't even touch them. Then they re-solidify, and they're just beating the crap out of him.
So they're holograms, but they can actually cause damage.
Yep.
As to how does a fly mutant have such powers to actually create holograms that are holograms but can actually be physical and rearrange their photons and their photons and their protons to be physical in our dimension?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's actually Phantoon from Metroid.
Because obviously, it's now boiling down to Kotaro and the little kid to save the brother and to fight the legion of not monsters that are here, because the fly is actually inside the little boy.
Yeah.
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 And I'm guessing because little brother knows, and he's to save his brother, he uses his psychic abilities.
Yeah, and the older brother pulls an Android 17. Well, not an Android 17, more like a half-perfect cell, where it's like, hey sis, what's up? It's wickety whack, yo. You should join us. Yeah, no, my brother doesn't talk like that.
Yeah.
Nah, don't be a player hater. Hate the game. No, for real though. 17 doesn't even talk like that. If you're gonna try to trick me, at least try to learn what he talks like.
Yeah, because the little brother just gives him a glare, a psychic glare, and it's enough to shoot the bug out of him and causes all of the hologram kaijin to disappear. I guess it was too much for the bug to handle. Take the boy away, get him out of here. Don't let the fly get him. And
what's really funny is seeing all the people evacuating, which by the way is a precursor to things that'll happen in later episodes. And the one vegetable dude, it's like, look at you people running. I'm sitting right here with all of my cabbages. And then a stampede of mutants show. I was like, oh, my cabbages.
Yeah.
And you literally do see cabbages get destroyed, so it works.
It's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. But a rider punch later and the fly is destroyed, therefore saving the day.
Yeah, there's really not much to say. It's cool to see a bunch of these guys come back, but we don't really do much in terms of fighting all of them at once like classic Kamen Rider did. Heck, even in the movie, they did it better.
Yeah, they came out of the torches of fire, which they were actual physical manifestations. As for here, it's just a light show that for some reason the fly is able to do.
Yeah.
And again, it's I get why you couldn't get the little brother, but you didn't really even focus on trying to get the little brother or try to weaken his natural defenses. You kind of just, I have one kid, I'll take the Kamen Rider. You had a more better option if you got the little brother. than the big brother. But
Mm-hmm.
well, flies are not known for their intelligence, obviously.
No, but I know that I know what their favorite Chinese dish is.
Mm,
The poo-poo platter.
well, boo.
Okay, I stole that joke from Pixar. See, I can be transparent about me stealing other people's intellectual property.
So the final episode in our review, the Monster Farm Duel.
Yeah.
And well, again,
It's an episode.
our first episode in the review, that's probably like the highlight that we've had throughout this whole review. This one, we do get to see Kara and Mara just standing there.
Yeah.
So the time card is not a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
But the funny thing is, the snapshot I got were not from this episode.
The what I have written down is Kotaro helps the young boy, saying that strange happenings are happening in his home and in his apartment building. For that Gorgum is actually taking the tenants and making them into mutants.
First they use real estate to trick you. It's like, oh yeah, look at these cheap condos. They're really discounted. But then once you move in, you get taken out.
You know, the thing is, they also kind of give the premonition of smart houses, because here you don't use keys or anything. You have a bracelet that is assigned to you and able to access all amenities in the home.
Yeah.
Which, again, cool, but at the same time, how does this all connect to Gorgum's plan? Well, it's because the bracelets are actually mind control. See, it's not the house, it's the bracelet. So we actually just kind of got into the real estate market to get more people, because people are buying homes. The Japanese economy is actually booming right now. So instead of just selling again like we did with the dance troupe of the necklaces, because surely that won't work again, we will implement jewelry and house purchasing in the same episode.
Yeah, and basically the goal is that these bracelets will drain human life force and then use it to feed the mutants. So are they like fangires now all of a sudden?
Didn't we say that the mutants ate a specific fruit that they were trying to?
Oh yeah, that was an episode that happened.
So is it not the fruit now? Is it now just again using the life force? So they're basically life force vampires, like the fangires.
Yeah. See, like I think one of the biggest issues with Black is lack of consistency. Like you're not able to maintain a consistent tone. You're not able to maintain like consistent mechanics or lore behind characters and themes. And again, like you're not even keeping a consistent writer. You change your narrator like 40 episodes in, and you change your writer like 2 or 3 times already.
Yeah, like I said in past reviews, there was a lot of studio interference at this point in time. And it not only caused the director and writers, it was also behind the scenes when it came down to narrators and such. So, I mean, obviously Kotaro and the main cast, you're already locked in. You guys are already paid. So, you know, but everyone else, because if you do notice also, the 3 wise guys, except for the woman, sound different than when they originally started.
Yeah, it does have that.
Like that's the thing. They went from this and now they're like more upper, more like, yeah, let's get him, boss. You know,
Did it happen after episode 35 or before that?
I think it was before, because again, there was an episode or two where the wise guys were just out of commission. They didn't know what they were going to do when Shadow Moon finally showed up. But again, it's like the voice has changed, and if you look at the behind the scenes voiceover cast, there's actually, I think, 2 different voices. Because obviously they do mention the suit actors, but there's 2 for the priest.
Like, are you sure it's not just like, oh, they disguise themselves as this human, so we're also going to credit that to one human?
No, because it's the same. It's the voice actors that change.
Not always.
I mean, the stunt performers obviously stay the same, but when you're crediting like 2 people doing the voice for a character, unless there was circumstance like, wait, but so and so continued working in the writer or in voice acting. What happened? Always the studio interference. That's why, again, the tonal shift here of like of random jewelry causing hypnosis, and there's apparently a secret basement in the apartment complex.
And in the basement, as Kotaro and a little boy go investigate, geez, it's always a kid of the week. And there's a whole underground garden there, along with like an artificial sun. At least I assume there's an artificial sun.
You sure it's not the Creation King? Because he is technically a thing, even though we've never seen him.
I mean, that would have made the most sense, but they never explain it.
No.
And turns out the real estate dude who sold everyone the bracelets was actually a stag beetle mutant.
A stag beetle. Which... Okay. All right, but again, out of all the insects that we have had, you just look like a generic beetle. There's nothing really creepy about you.
Yeah, like even with Ichigo, and they had that one beetle kaiju, like with the ski lifts. Yeah. At least they tried making it look sophisticated. And let's be honest, it looked like Hercules Kabuterimon if he was black with red decals.
Yeah, but here it just looks like a generic. In fact, looking at this thing, didn't we see this thing on an episode of Power Rangers?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there was a stag beetle monster in Power Rangers, but it was very different because that stag beetle monster, like the horns went up like this, which means if he wanted to attack the Megazord, he has to like bend downward just for his horns to go forward.
I could have sworn, because I'm like, this thing looked kind of, I don't know why it triggered that memory, but I was like, that can't be the same thing.
Maybe you have a sudden urge to play broom ball.
Which
Ernie does know how to play, and his nephew Richie will join your team.
I'm like, they couldn't have used the same beetle suit in Zoo 2 footage for Mighty Morphin.
They could have, but they didn't.
I don't know. But yeah, apparently it turns out that the real estate agent is behind it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than just the girls running interference and destroying the computer, which inevitably breaks the bracelets off of people, there's no security here.
Yeah, but we do see the Jeeps that we saw in the movie. So, hooray for that.
For some reason that they're here, okay. And yeah, other than just a battle and a rider kick later,
we do see Shadow Moon though, because like they go to this elevator, and they end up in the control room, and Shadow Moon does show. It's like you will fight me, little brother. I don't want to fight you, bro. Well, too bad.
yeah, if you're trying to get excitement out of this episode, I'm like, yeah, but it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. He Shadow Moon ends up leaving anyways.
Yeah, he just leaves. He just made a scene and left. And I'm guessing no one's living in these apartments anymore because, well,
Yeah.
yeah, not really a need to.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Ugh.
But yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
That is the every single episode in our review today of Kamen Rider Black.
Mm-hmm. You want to go first?
You know, the Idol episode was probably the better out of all of these. It is possibly the only highlight I can say that actually was fairly entertaining and not like Kotaro and company actually solved the case, you know? Here it's just like, you know, just random bumping into things, or kids are the ones that did the majority of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were just to say in everything, it's a low, it's like a 7.9. Really. I would say an 8 for in total, but it's just because the Idol episode was the only one that I believe was actually properly written out. As for everything else, it's like it's just totally kid based, and it's again the feel doesn't really feel like Black. It feels like it was dumbed down. It was completely like brought down. Because the Idol episode made it seem like, yeah, we're back to the original days or the beginning of Kamen Rider Black. As for here, it's now like, oh yeah, after that, it's new Kamen Rider Black. So yeah, no, it's a 7.9. It's a high 7 but a low 8. Like the Idol episode is the only thing I will say was actually a good watch to me.
Yeah.
Everything else, no. Just no.
Yeah. The Idol episode was a 10 for me. But everything else, the karate episode was a 6, time travel one 7.5. It had some good ideas, but very squandered. The Muska episode, I'd say it's about an 8. You know, it's a relatively decent episode. It's just honestly, like, I think it's more like I think it's more like it looks more interesting from an aesthetic point of view. Because it's like, oh, you have this genuinely creepy fly monster with a genuinely interesting ability, but you know, standard fare, it's still filler. Let's see, and with the last episode, it's like, honestly, it's kind of back to a 7 because there's really, like, I think it wanted to make some good ideas, but it just did not follow through on them. Yeah. So these episodes are all over the place, and unfortunately, it is mostly filler. But just a little more, guys. 8 more episodes, and you know, in the words of Jaden Yuki. Yugi, I know you're. I hope you're ready because this is gonna be heavy. I know you might think this is unnecessary, but it's tough. Suck it up, dog. It's something you gotta do. All right. All right. Comments.
All right.
Triple Oaks, just 8 more episodes to go. Yeah. 2 sets of 4, and we're done.
We're gonna see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I agree with Steve about the Idol episode. Yeah.
It's a commentary on society, but also it was a genuinely good plan by Gorgon. Like, really,
yeah.
Why wasn't this like one of the earlier episodes? I say.
Yeah. The time travel was wasted potential. Like I said, like the stuff we see in that in episode 41, like it could have been two separate episodes, and each of them could have been a good episode.
Yeah.
But instead, you decided to combine them and do half of two good things and end up with one lackluster thing. Like just to put it simply, like I only have one way to describe the episode.
Mid! Wasn't even that.
Yeah, it was very lackluster.
It wasn't even that, but
It's kind of interesting how mid, like, it's supposed to mean like middling, but like it has this connotation where it's like, no, mid is bad.
yeah.
But I get it, because it's like mid would be like a C, like 70%, 79%. But the thing is, to be passing, like honestly, high key, like you want to be above 80. High key, you want to be above 80.
Yeah.
So it's like 70. It's not failing per se, but it's not succeeding either. All right. I hate how this is mostly filler, especially since it's the late 80s, not early 70s.
Again, from my understanding, it was studio interference because they had gotten complaints about how the show in the beginning was very serious, very dark, and honestly gave kids nightmares. And I mean, for an American standpoint, we wouldn't get that until 93, 94 with the introduction of Zed.
Mm-hmm.
And that same thing happened, where it's like we started off like serious and it's getting there, and only for it to be dumbed down because apparently some kid was having nightmares because of the bad guys.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the bad guys. They're supposed to give you that.
Again, as many as Robert Axelrod said to me, he said, well, that was my job. I'm not supposed to be funny or welcoming. I'm supposed to be the bad guy. And even the great Tim Curry said once on the set of It, where
do you have Prince Alfred in a can? You do, then you should let him out. Aha, aha, aha.
Where like pretty much it's like the kids were frightened of him because of and one of them said, you're Tim, you're really scaring us. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not the good guy. I'm a clown, but I'm not, that's the point of the villains that you're not supposed to be welcoming and heartwarming, and we're not supposed to cheer for the bad guys. We're supposed to, boo at them and be scared of them. Obviously, if again, that whole premise of like, bad guys. That would you really believe these guys were a millennium old society that has controlled humans from behind the shadows, and what they couldn't rob a convenience store.
Look, I could have believed it with the Idol episode.
No, with the Idol episode, it was like, oh, that's diabolical, absolutely. But then everything else is like
real estate,
sending the monster to a random isolated location just because. I'm like, why? Even the Cobra, it's like, yeah, great job, boss. You sent out that Cobra. I didn't do anything, but I'm going to take credit for it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. With karate, I'll kick your butt. Here to Tiananmen Square. Oh yeah. I love how you guys complain about Mara and Kara. They are the new Toko and Yoko. Well, to be fair, Toko left the show before Yoko even showed up.
Well, honestly, it's like, you introduce a gun in the first scene, you got to use it by the end, and we're almost at the end, and it's like, why did we even bother?
Why are you introducing a new gun?
Why bother with these 3 set dressings if we're not even going to use them? Yeah, we did see them vaguely in the last episode, but it was just a simple like footage that we already had seen. Nothing else was so. Is that it? Is there nothing else? Is there nothing more? Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing about like the girls from the original Ichigo to be like, oh, yeah, but again, yeah, you're right. But at times it's like they were just there at the cafe. There was really no reason for them to get involved. Obviously, with the original 3, yes, they got involved because of who they were.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you introduce villains, when you introduce like, you know, something involving the bad guys and they're not even using them, then what was the point? I feel like with the hero, oh yeah, so and so, yeah, okay. But with the villains, it's like, then why the fuck did you create this monster if you were not ever going to use it? It's kind of like that robot that we had in the last movie. Why did you show us the robot if there was no purpose or anything that it was going to be used for? Well, we blew it up. Okay.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
That's it for the last comment. We hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon, stay notified for our latest videos, and be sure to share videos because it helps out with the algorithm. We discussed Kamen Rider Black, Kamen Rider Z, number 1 Sentai Go Juger, Ultraman Omega, and Tojima Tanzaboro wants to be a Kamen Rider. Check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we discuss various movies and TV shows, and we recently uploaded our interview with Sam Marin, who played Pop, Spenson, and Muscle Man from the regular show, as well as several vlogs, including our trip to the Blue Oyster Cult tour, as well as Sailor Moon the Super Live. It was a great concert, to say the least. And yeah, stick around later this week as we're gonna cover 4 more episodes. Yes, we only have 2 more reviews to go. We're gonna discuss 4 more episodes of Kamen Rider Black, and we will be celebrating our 7-year anniversary as well as 3,000 subscribers as we delve into a certain movie from 30 years ago, a certain movie known as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. That's right. This Sunday we'll be discussing this movie, and I am excited for that. I'm excited to discuss it. Yeah. You know, I remember back in our old days, like, we were talking nonstop-ish about the Turbo movie, but let's be honest, like, as we got older, it's like, was it the worst? Was it? No, but we'll discuss that movie when we get to that movie. But if you want to say hi to us, we are going to be at the Pasadena Convention Center January 25th for Pasadena Comic Con. We're going to be going to the Burbank Marriott Convention Center on May 31st for Robo Toy Fest. And then we're going back to Pasadena Pasadena Convention Center on August 28th through the 30th for Power Morphicon. We love you guys. We hope to see you again real soon. Until next time, we hope you have a wonderful weekend. Have a good one. Bye.
Good night, guys.